with something labeled the way that it is, there's no other way to do this besides just jumping right in. The do a toe touch or two and see if the totally tubular tapestry that you've pulled off the ceiling will be appealing when it's ripped. I've got something around my wrist connecting it to this. The other one, it's a game for fun. Tie me up and run. I call it all in. I'm a pretty tall kid. 6'2". It's some bigger news than who? The guy on the TV station who's claiming the sky's falling again. The sky's falling, but when? Can we calculate it? Can we take it down like a measurement and see if we can let the letters just stay unopened? As if nobody knows if it's actually going to happen. And we get dragged in to a lot of people's opinions and views and beliefs of things that they don't know how to. So don't. Don't even try. Try too hard and you might die. Your dying day, like the fire escape, the place that you tried to climb away to, is a place that wouldn't wait for you. The most kind person of all of them might also run. If it came down to it at life or death, then I don't know if we have left a single sec and it's kind of up in the air, like we're just tossing it around, juggling balls, and all it is somewhere that's not in our court. So I call it all in because I'm ballin'. This is episode 6 of All In the Image Clothing Company music. Today is the 1st of February, 2026. That's how old I am. 26 years old. 26 years, it's cold, a cold world. Trying to find out how to warm it up. It'll always seem colder than it should be. If we're trying to change things from their state of being to something else that we think they might need to tweak, just a little bit to get to, we might never get through. Trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, we might not go around the pole, but we might just see if the pole can drown us. And if that'll take enough of a toll on us to stop paying for things that we don't need to be involved in the first place. I've said it before, it's the worst race, trying to get to the front of the line. It's not so scary when you end up being behind. When you're behind the times, you don't have to be worried about all the things that everybody else is running around on the sand farm to try to clean up all the messes that never actually were there, but it seems so because they addressed it as if it was something so terrible on the news. This is news to you. You shouldn't even pay any attention to that. You got some attention, and so you can only pay it, and it won't pay you back. No, it's gone when it's gone, and then it's just on to something else, and we can leave it where we found it, we can find it, now we're drowning our own sorrows. Crying over things that never even happened, and claiming that they did because everybody else was imagining that they had it in their grasp. An understanding of what life actually was and how to make it last a little bit longer than it is. How long is it? How long is it? Can we address somebody? Can we address something to someone if we are not here anymore? But if we can't hear anymore, then why are we listening to so many things that don't seem to bring any kind of success to us, but we just think that we need to get on the bus and on the bandwagon and been putting my band on a wagon just so I can wheel it around and make a bunch of noise and see if everyone else will have the choice to choose, and if they'll choose a choice that I want them to do. And there's a lot of things for you, I could say, but I can't claim anything and have it be actually true unless things are just true and I can deliver the information to you. And so who are we going to listen to, and how would you ever know? And why don't we go all in the same direction if we're all human beings on the same earth here? I think that's the biggest lesson, is that we got to stop looking for something better and just see if we can lessen ourselves, and whether that's going to help, we might as well try. It's harder to climb the ladder of success than to just drop off the bottom rung and see if we can have anything in down there that'll catch us in our misery. And maybe we don't need any company, and company for company's sake will leave us in a place like the bottom of the lake, and now we are just drowned. Sorrows, although they don't want to claim they're sad, they can't grab the happiness and keep it for life. It seems to just slip away from them, right? It always just goes again to somewhere else. It just goes within. And sometimes you don't know where it went, and you're trying to find it, trying to grab it, you might get a hand on it, a handle it. Can you handle this? Life being a little bit of a fluctuation. I don't know if we're taking any kind of journey in the right direction, or if we're turning left, and we might expect it to come back around again. So, Trinities, count it up. 3, I turned left and left and left again, and now I left them in a Confucius state. I thought I'd just make some things equate to a mathematical complicated complex I've taken. What did I take, and why? Once I take it, it's gone, like my time. I only have the amount that I do. I've been amounting all the things that I thought I needed to a mountain of things I have not achieved. If I still have them written on my to-do list, who knew if we just rested a bit, we could get arrested again, bound by time and the will of God. We have our will, and oft it doesn't take us to where we want to go, like the beautiful place with the loft, looking over all the scenery around, and now we come back to town and drown. It always comes back down. The volume, when all you did was charge the battery, it's going to lose its energy at some point, like you do at the end of the day. Hey. It's a little bit shaky. It's a little bit hard to grasp and grab, and the reality is that we can't fully hold on to the things that we sure would like to. And so we sure fight, dude. We put up a fight, we tussle and wrestle with time and wonder if God's on our side, or if slumber is what we had done when he told us to tarry a little longer. You've gone your course, and you've gone, of course, you went where they did, jumping on board with all the trends, and it takes its toll on you for the worst. Better or worse, I think it got so bad that we had to try to do all we can to land in reverse and back our way out of it. But you can't back out of this when you never chose to go into it. And I don't want to get into it if I don't need to get into it. There's some things that are bigger than kids, and those are the adults. They're taller, bigger, louder. How can you not be overshowered by the voices of the opinions of others, if even your mother, who loves you more than the rest of them, is testing some of your last nerves? and you want to just blast yourself off into outer space. You're so spaced out, you can't take now even a second to slow down. You don't know the route, but you go to town, out of the house, and try to find out what else you can get for some temporary satisfaction. In fact, it's just a temporary temperament. You're feeling bad for a time, and you're feeling like the time is just something you don't have any kind of feelings for that are good. You wish you could have a lot more of it, and sure, it just seems to keep on slipping from your grasp the more you try to grab it. It's a habit you've landed in, trying to win, and you can't. Kids, it's just what it is. No matter how much you try and you want, it'll never be anything else but... What? The truth. The tangible. The can't you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you actually can't oppose the universal law of gravity. And so you're grabbing things and trying to just hold them all together. And whether you know it or not, you only have the amount of strength that you can. And it's not enough. The news is flashy. Can I make a news flash and grab these truths? Actually, we can see that there's never enough strength we can have to overcome the land. Because every time we jump, we always do. We land again, and we can't begin to think for a second. Maybe 5, though, just to pass the truth and come back in the 4th row. Oh no, I'm close enough to almost be there, but far enough away that if I'm scared, I can back out at any time. Every time we jump, we always seem to find the ground again. So just stay rooted. Just stay rooted. Stay rooted. Can you do it? Can you do it? Can we try a little bit harder to not be so much? Be a little bit easier on yourself and not so. Life isn't as hard as you are on yourself. And you're looking all around, and it's more that you can compare yourself to the higher up you go on the shelf. And if you just climb down a rung or two, a shelf or two, and I'll sell you news that I don't have to sell you to, deliver it. Here's some deliverance from all the problems you had, and why can't you solve them on your own? Because you only have 2 hands and a lot more that you would like to grab than that. So just stay on the bottom shelf and see what else in life can help if you do it backward of what the world would love for you to try. The world would love for you to hide. They'd love for you to go inside your room and try to do anything alone. Oh. Everyone else outside seems to be like a whole different kind of person than me, and I am in my own mind, and I'm out of it sometimes, and that's what makes me crazy. Is when I can't stop taking all the options that are out there and experimenting with them in my intellectual, let yourself just lessen the pull, and the lesson you'll pull from lessening your grasp on reality is that it's always this. It's always the same. It's always just a bigger game than you can tame. Go out there to get some big game and have a big catch, and you can come back with a hook in your lap. And you're hooked on the fact that there was something bigger you could have had. And you didn't get it. Call it a big game. I call it, it's a game you don't have to choose to play, and you've been shooting your shot. I call it all in, but I don't make every single one of them. When I do, though, I make a point of doing it, so it can't be disputed. Grab the technological devices and compute it if you need to do it to see if it's true. It's just what it is. It can't be anything else except for... And sometimes that's how it is. Life is so great until it just seems to dissipate. When the earth decides to quake, the alarms go off, and we can't stop just running and running and running and running, tripping over something. It's funny, if we were to just stay in place and duck and hide and cover under the shelter of the wings of faith, we could stand in place. It can be a holy one in time and space. Be not moved and do some things, whatever the option comes that brings a little bit of solidarity to you. And see what happens if you don't move. I think that it's true. And it doesn't matter what I think, but I knew at one time that I didn't know what I could find if I just looked anywhere else but in my mind. And I can now tell you for a truth, as a truth, a surety, and you don't need to listen to me at all, but if you stop trying to crawl your way out of the mud, you can realize that you're not really stuck. And you'll wake up. Get those eyes open. You might be joking. You might think you're floating across the open concepts you had, and you can't land, and it's the ocean of opportunity. You're tuning into things, and you don't need a lot of the things that are out there. It's pretty far out there, and you're not outside of yourself, so don't leave the bottom shelf. See if you can do it. See if you can move. If you stand still, sit still. See if you can still be healed when you have no idea how it could happen. Nothing you could possibly imagine in your own mind. How could I? Don't ask those kind of questions anymore. The lesson is you're sore when you're working toward something you'll never achieve. You'll never get enough of what's not for you. It's something you can sure tune into, like the news, and see if you can snooze through it instead. There's enough in your head going on that you don't have to belong to the society around you. Get back to the ground. Do you remember where it is? The ground is just the place that you are running around. And you missed the point. You missed it. I think that we can just get it again if we take everything else and put it aside and see if inside our own mind is where we hide instead of sinking into the mud to see if it might be something we love. And then what? Your whole life trying to find a place out of here. That's not where you're at now. It's Like all of those things you were trying to catch just landed in your grasp, and you've had it the whole time. In fact, I don't want to confuse you because you shouldn't be doing things you know you shouldn't. But one thing that you don't know maybe so well is that you don't have to go to hell. Leave it alone. Leave it at the place that it is and stay at your home. And don't travel outside yourself to try to find something else that might help when the Spirit of God dwells inside of you. And I don't need any opinions to know the truth. Whew. Like a thief in the night. Tricky. Visionary. It's a big thing, a tree of life. I think we might like the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's evil to know the good. If we don't know the good, we can't know the evil. I think it's a big old upheaval we could have over the truth and see who knows it best. Can I put you to the test? Can you test me? Let's see who knows the best and see who can go back to the chest. Not the chest, like where you lay things to rest, but inside your own chest where you can't seem to just all that often find a peaceful state where your breathing is so quick and you can't seem to stop it from its rapid pace, and see if you can get back to the rabbit race. It's a rat I've escaped. I like to take a little bit of a slower route now, going back down to the tortoise house and see can we just take it slow? I think that I can go at a different kind of cadence, bro. If I don't try to be in charge of things, I'll be charging, please. Can you just charge my card with these? You mess with the bull, you get the horns. All of a sudden, you're sounding alarms and you thought something was gonna charge. And it didn't. That'll cause you to slow down, and now you go home to your hometown, and you don't know now how you're going to go out again ever if you can't just let your mind cool down. Relax. Not relapse, but we act as if a relax is a relapse. It's a relaxation, not like you're taking the old kind of course in life you used to take when you were doing things you know you shouldn't. But this time, you're doing things you know you should if you're taking life a little bit slower. You're taking life to a place and you might just escape the rat race if you can be the one to cause the quake. See if you can take your mind and start to shake out all the change and cobwebs and see if you can change and not let yourself get stuck. But instead, see if you can let things just be what they are and see if you can call it anything but luck. When things just start to work out and you're working now and it's a house, a bigger home, a expansive place, an expansive taste, expensive weight. I don't think we make an equal. When I look at this person and I see the sequel of the other person who's trying to be cracking the door open. Actually, you're more just trying to find what it was like when your life was easier than you might have it nowadays. Because you're now you're outraged. You got out of your cage. You thought that's what you wanted, and something just hit you like the fan when it gets hit with the click. It all falls into place. It all falls and escapes the cage it was in, and all of a sudden the blade goes windmilling around the town, and now you can't even find out how to get back to where you were. You wanted to be out of your cage so much you left the place. You don't touch anything anymore. You are somewhere where you are torn, wondering who you were and why you aren't who you are. If you can be anything and anyone and anywhere now and reach a star. Before you were locked up, the stars were just a place you could see if you looked up, and now you look up to no one. Because when you're not caged, you're out in outer space and you can do whatever you want. No one else to look up to. Now you look down to how you used to be. Wow. Leaving your old friends on the ground. Dropping it like a towel. Call it a sweatshop, a sweat rack, a sweat actually. I don't sweat it at all. I'm not going back, so you say. What about the friends who gave you everything and made you who you are today? But today is Tuesday, and you say there's exceptions to these things because except the option that we think is okay, we don't go to that place anymore. We've graduated. We've actually made it to a bigger place than where they are still, and we don't want to be a part of what they are. Kill me with kindness. I think I'll kill you with trying this. You'll never reach it to my level the playing field by just leaving him on the ground, and I play for real. And you just play to steal. Now where are we and who are we talking about or from? I think I'm someone who sometimes is in the space station taking a break to make it all the way down to the surface of the planet with my eyeballs to see if I can fall back into my old habits and be like the kids before I became a rabbit. Fast-paced life, fast-paced right. I'm in the place that's like it's a space age. I'm trying to remember how to turn off the computer. The technology's newer than I am. Claims to know more than I do. I think I've got a bug. Who can fix my problems? I'll solve them with the technological age. What's crazy is it is some time we've got to take. Back to when we would stop and rake our living rooms. Because the wind in the afternoon blew some leaves inside of our lean-to. And now I can't seem to remember what that is. So much technology, it's become a part of me, and I can hardly see what the truth is underneath. Yesterday's news is tomorrow's problems, as long as everyone else can call themselves a follower of the lies. We don't like to lie in life. We don't like to lie. I'm right. Don't believe me, but I see things. And people like to be jumping around like a bean in the town, and they don't need to go so quick. It's like their feet aren't even touching the ground. Their feet need to touch the ground. They need to. They see through the truth right to the lies. Wait. What does it mean? What? You just missed it. You tried to grab it and you didn't. You thought you did it. You didn't do it. Actually, it moved quick, so fast. It went onto something else before you could grab it. And like a rabbit, you had a trick in your hat, and you couldn't imagine where it went when you grabbed the string and it kept pulling, and you thought that you were bowling, and you knocked over 9 of the pins, and you thought you'd win until you birthed yourself some problems. So eager to be the best in the first that you made life the rest of it worse than the first half of it. Actually, you can't just get over the hill without tumbling down the other side. So you're tumbling down the other side, and you're trying to find out why you can't hide anymore because you created the secondary all-searching eye. Trying to hide from God, you made some things that you thought you could have control over. Now you can't control anything at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a remote amount of control. For the technology that you made, that you can't pull yourself out of. You got yourself into a hole and you can't even begin to find the truth anymore. So wired with bugs, you can't even find out what life was like. Life was like, was it what life was like before life was life. Yeah. Feeling so lifeless. You're searching for life. It's all you would do. To do all you would do to see if you could find a fly that you used to kill just for flying by. Now you'd kill to find a fly when you can't even find the time when you've been stuck inside technology. It all just leaves as quick as it came, and it's just a can't we take our candy cane and see if we're able to be slain? Instead of hooking things like a shepherd, we grab the pepper, mint, stick, and we throw it in the mud. And we wonder why we run. As the sand is sinking, we can't believe we didn't build our foundation on a firmer place than the sinking sand. We can't land on the rock of our salvation. We're salivating when we see a cracker, or it's just a cracker, a break in the system, and we wish that we could just get it to be where we are so we could get out of the place that we caused ourselves to be in, and weird, far from home, with no understanding of how to get back to the road. It was straight and narrow, the path back, and now we're on the side of it. We can't grab the rod of iron. I think I'd find your home if I now went down to the swamp lands and landed myself in the swamp, man. I think I'm just stuck inside the mud. I can't find the thing I want. And I realize I don't even care what I want. I just care to be trumped by truth and see if I can do something wrong to prove everyone right that we did not need to write the codes. The codes are right, and no. Call it a bro code. I call it you broke, though. All the codes you thought you wrote. God wrote the codes, and you wrote some more codes to override the things you tried to bring to fruition. The truth just isn't something you can toy with. It just isn't a toy, kids. It's not something you can just enjoy if you think you can deploy this. New agenda. You pretend a lot of things, and things are only what they are, not what you think you make them seem, and everyone will all believe the things you have to say to them. I've been taking 10, 5, take 5 at least, take 5 at least. I think I need to take 5. I need to take 5 and times it by 4. I mean, I've got 20 more than the score. If we can count it up, I've got 4 times. I got 4. My math equations take 4 and 5 and times them together, and I think you can let yourself crawl on hands and feet, all 5 of the digits on each, and see if we can get to the truth. It doesn't leave. We try to hide. We try to find a new thing to create, to make life something better than we might think it is already. And all that really is so darn heavy is the cross we bear, we can't even bear the minimum. The bare minimum just is what we need to get. If it would be left alone, it would always be there, and we'd be at home, and we wouldn't be scared. We'd be like a bear and have our necessities, and the rest just leaves as quick as it comes. But if we try to hold on to the things like the oil we pump from the earth, we just realize that we're in a slump, and the worth that we thought that we could create was just a place that was fake. They call it synthetic. We just process it. We process it. We can't process this life because life seems to pass us by. And why can't we fuse it all together, whether we think it's the truth, or you'd like to let your opposable thumbs be sewn to the ones that are next to it, next, who just was the last one to go. My vision got so blurry, I thought that I knew, and I don't know why I can't go through life without trying to seal everything that's unreal. So I don't have to peel back the layers but if it could all be one, so solid and unchanging, no one could come back. But everyone would always stay intact. They would always know, in fact, if I told them what it was. There'd be no way they could question it. No way they could get lost even a bit. What if everything we thought we missed was presented to us just like this? A postcard. It it's so hard to believe it's real, but if you look close enough, then you can steal the emotions from the photograph. And you know you've grabbed a sense of land when you can't have anything you want anymore. Because you don't get the opportunity to want things that can take you to a place where you can forge a fake and false sense of reality. Because if it was just forced upon you, there'd be no place for you to be gone to. And you'd be tethered to it, and there'd be no movement from the truth if I could just force it on you just to make it be something you couldn't do even the slightest bit of tweaking to. If it was up to me and not up to you to know the truth, then you would never know what truth was. Snap back to it. It is something you can't be doing if you can't be lost from the true things. You got a glitch in the system, and so someone can take it and switch it off and turn it back on again, and now you'll be back home because you had the option to go. But if you had no option, then no, you'd have nowhere to go. Calling you home. I'm calling you so you can come back to the road. It's like a poor film of a ghost. They didn't hire a very good actor. In fact, you're back to yourself again, and you're selling them all these dreams of all the things, and the reason why truth remains to be truth is because you have an option to go somewhere else. And that's what helps. The growth. You wouldn't be able to grow if you didn't have anywhere to go. If you were just told where to go and what to do, you wouldn't have anywhere to move to. Like the higher rung on the ladder. You'd be stuck on the bottom with a lot of things that you could. It puts you to sleep. So shouldn't you be going a little off course time and time again? Or every now and then, at least, to see if you can wake up some things, or if you can wake up, because please, if we were told what to do, then nothing would need to be true. There would only be what there was, and nothing could ever be what there wasn't. But in order to grow, we have to know the good from the bad, and the bad can't be there unless the good is had. But the good couldn't be there without the bad. There's a lot of opinions that we can grab and hold on to as long as we can. But they'll leave and they'll drop, and we'll fall back to the bottom. And that's the only option. Because we didn't design it. We can't decide if we want to just be to the top of life. And this life, it's something we have no choice over, besides to have choices. Sometimes our choices lead us straight to hell, but then we have a choice to get us back to a place where we can prevail, serving the King of Kings, the God we all have and we all need. Even if you don't believe, you're only able to believe in something because you have a king, someone who created you to be the being you are today. How could you have a belief if you weren't here first to have a belief? And how'd you get here first if you can't believe anything unless you're here to believe? Truth is truth. I'll tell it to the youth. I'll tell it to everybody who comes across me saying something, pointing us to truth. The King of Kings, he's for me and you, Jesus the Christ. No matter what you like or what you don't like in life, you only have the option to like your life because you have a life. And why are you here? Your opinions couldn't answer that question. Your beliefs couldn't make it be what you think it needs to be. This is as much for you as it is for me. My grandkids sitting there imagining life is whatever they want it to be, just to find out the truth of it is not something they could decide because they were placed inside this life with a choice. The ability to choose. We can choose to be in a delusion, or we can choose to be choosing truth. Two options, but only one of them leads to something that we need, and someone we need is Jesus the Christ. I don't care what you believe in life. I used to have beliefs left and right, and my beliefs left me to being right all the time, to the point that I was wrong. And I was so far gone that I couldn't even see anymore the road that I was once on. I had to get back to it. I didn't know how to do it on my own. I didn't know where it was that I came from that was my home. I didn't know how I ended up feeling so alone when I knew I had something I used to be able to land on to hold me tight at night. And now every night at that time began to be a fright, and I thought I'd never have a content, easy-going life, and I didn't know how to have relief in the times when life seemed to be all right. At least kind of. I still didn't know how to feel like I was okay. When I was okay, I thought there was a better place because I believed I had the choice to choose what I could do in every instance. And isn't this a tricky trap? And I don't want us to get stuck in the sticky sap of this big old dripping tap into the truth and see if you can find out why you can't let loose without feeling like you're a goose chasing yourself back to find a place where you can get help and you don't know how. You come back to jail and feel better when you do. Because every time you get let loose and cut loose and go somewhere else where you feel like you made a truce with life and you can do whatever you want all the time, and who is going to care, and the consequences are something you can just believe doesn't have to be, something you have to reap, and sowing things is all that you know, and it's a lot of beliefs. You're sowing a lot of things that just leave you so empty. You don't need to be sowing things, but sowing seems back together. Bringing the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers. You're sitting there in a jail cell, and well, that's probably the best place to be, humbling yourself before the king. Drop those legs down to your knees. See if it's easier to breathe. When you sneeze out all the things you used to believe and try to find out what you believe in, because you probably don't know, even though you are so gung-ho about what you say you know. And you don't. You don't know what is true. You don't know what to do. You thought you could choose. And your beliefs let you die when you were the freest you've been this whole time. So gauge yourself up again. Cage yourself up. Cage yourself up like God wants you to be. Locked between birth and death, locked between the last second and the next, locked in time without any escape that you could find. Cage yourself up and see if you can be content being stuck in the mud. And see if being a stick in the mud leaves you to a place that you can find some real love. When everything else seems to change, something unconditional would be a good change of pace. Being stuck somewhere means there's not much to change. Change seems to be the only thing we try to seek, but it's the constant thing we try to leave in the past when we don't know how to be content. Because 1 second to the next, that's what comes. right when the last one runs, the next one takes its place, and we wish we could stay in hours for like an hour and get some nap, or take a shower, get a nap, or take a power bar and not have to scarf it down before we have to get back to where we thought we are. And it always seems to change. So what would be nice is a little bit of a break from the constant state of change and see if we could stick ourselves inside something else and call it a stag. And life. And that might be fine. That might be okay. To stand in a place that's not going anywhere, in a place that we can't escape. And you know what? That's the truth of life. Is we're in a probationary state, right? You're not going to change what life is because you think you can change what life is, but you're in the space and time, kids, and there's only space. And I'm just learning that there's universal things that we can all believe are not the case, and they are. You can't create it or destroy it. You're not here before it, so you can toy with the idea of believing something could be something it's not, and you are wrong. It's not that I'm right. Let me clarify. Because even when I'm wrong, God is always. And even if I'm gone, God is always. And even if it's long, there's always. Back to the truth if we can keep our eyes glued to the end of it, even before we begin. Before you jump in, find your escape route. Before you leave, see if you can make it now. All the way to the end, because if not, what else? You scream for help, for some way to escape, but we'll always leave. All of us achieve the finish line at one time or another. It's not hard to get to, and no one escapes through life without escaping, right? And no one stays for time and all eternity. So instead of looking for change, see how long you can stay. That's the real challenge. Be a stick in the mud and stick it somewhere that you can't run and see if you can handle it. See if you can sit. Anyone can leave. So who will you be? There's a lot in life you could achieve before you leave. But it might just seem like the time is speeding up before you do. The more you do in this life, rather than taking the only thing that you can't change, really, which is time, taken with a grain of salt or a grain of sand, because it's always going to land at the bottom of the hourglass when the minutes pass one by one and you can jump from thing to thing. The time will always leave. See if you can land yourself on the bottom of the seas. See if you can stay in the same place, in the stick, in the mud as you, and you can find some fun in that, or some fulfillment act all you want, as if you feel good each time you run to something new when you don't. Because you're a son, you're a daughter, you're someone who doesn't know anything better than their Father, Heavenly Father. I need thee, Jesus, the Christ. I can't be. Levi believed in things like I could be the creator of my destiny. I didn't write the book. I didn't choose to open the chapter, the first chapter, and now I'm backward, trying to turn it that way at least and see if I can be in this book a little longer, because each time I change a page or turn a page, I turn the change that I want to have into my cage when I can't land. And the true cage is where we can be content if we can stand in a holy place and be not moved. And so stop trying to do more than you need to and see what it really means to get all you can out of life. The less you do, the more you do. The more you do, the less you do. The less you have, the more you grab. The more you grab, the less you can.